Sunday, and that means it's a fun day here at the USPBL. Jimmy John's Field, the Beavers and the Mammoths here on our Sunday afternoon baseball. Hello and welcome everybody to the USPBL Network. I'm Brendan Shabath. That's Kara Wolfbauer joining us for the pregame. Kara's going to be on the field again tonight as well, so we appreciate her joining us on the pregame show. Let's recap last night first. It was a good matchup between these two teams, a closer matchup than some people might expect if you were to just look at the standings this season. It was first place versus last place, Mammoths versus Unicorns. The Mammoths were in a tie for first with the Diamond Hoppers. They were either going to get sole possession of first or second place with a win or loss last night. They came out with a 3-2 win. It was single run scoring every inning for these teams. The Unicorns got one in the second inning, one in the seventh. The Mammoths got one in the third, fourth, and then a big add-on run late in the eighth. Dre Williams-Nelson had an RBI double. He was our player of the game. A big night for him. And a guy who was dealing with some concussion protocol. He got hit over at first base a couple of weeks ago. I talked to him after the game. He just loves to play baseball. He loves to be out here. He's so grateful for this opportunity. It was really fun to see him have a good game and have a big moment like that.
Yes, he was our Detroit News Player of the Game yesterday, so I got to have a quick interview with him if you guys tuned in, but he was just telling me it's something he really needed to find that confidence within himself, especially coming back from the concussion protocol. He said it only had been about a week, but still it was rough sitting from the sideline and watching his teammates, which we are going to see tonight, unfortunately, from Burl Dixon.
Yeah, Burl Dixon, we mentioned it during the broadcast last night, maybe a groin injury or something of the sort, a lower leg injury at least, after he had that drag bunt to lead off the game for the Mammoths, and he reached and got on base. It was Dre Williams-Nelson, actually, the next pitch, who hit into a double play, and we saw Burl not really attempt to get to second base. There was clearly something wrong. Nick Webb came on in substitution for him. Webb went to left. Dre Williams-Nelson went to center field. And speaking of Nick Webb, it was really just kind of lucky for Taylor Jellikowski that the timing worked out the way it did. Obviously, you never want a player to get injured, but if someone's going to go down, you want to have someone available on the bench. Nick Webb, who hasn't been available for much of this season, only 4 games played before yesterday because he was on the IR for so long.
For a few months.
Exactly. He comes off the bench, makes a couple nice plays out in the field, has a hit when in his first at-bat back in a public game. It was really impressive from Webb to do that off the bench on short notice.
He's been moving around the field a bit, too. Livingston Morris got ejected a couple games back, so they ended up putting Nick Webb at first base. Again, moves over to left field. He also takes a lot of reps at third base. I believe that's his most comfortable position. So definitely great for the Mammoths as a utility player right now, especially with Burl Dixon being down. Just talked to Taylor Jellikowski. It is indeed a groin injury. They said it's really going to hurt them these next 2 days, but luckily they're already in a pretty good position in the standings right now. Just hoping to get him back in their lineup before championship weekend.
I think these Mammoths are going to lean on their regulars, and one we saw last night was Fox Liam, who had his 5th home run in his 21st game of the season, and that sounds about right. Every 4 games we see a Fox Liam home run. He's been arguably the most consistent power bat, I would wager to say, this season. He's been a really big boost in that Mammoths lineup ever since he got here right around the college showcase.
Yes, well, always up in the booth when we're waiting to come down and do my hosting. I always have Johnny and Mike up there with me, and we play a yard card game. And right as soon as Fox Liam walked up, Mike slammed his fist down, and immediately a couple pitches later, Fox Liam takes one out, takes one to the yard. So really excited. Shout out to Mike for that yard card yesterday. But like you said, Fox Liam's the one to bet on this year.
Absolutely. For the Beavers, tonight on the bump, it's Jake Armstrong getting the start. This will be his 8th start of the year. He will go against Bo Atkins on the other side for the Mammoths. Armstrong has been really good, both out of the bullpen and in a starting role this season for the Beavers. With the struggles that they've had lately, 3 games below 500, they're sitting in 3rd. Really kind of benefiting from an 8-game losing streak for the Unicorns right now because the stats don't necessarily support the Beavers as much as they would like. They had a really good offense at the start of the year. That has struggled of late. The bullpen has struggled of late. Jake Armstrong has kind of carried the bullpen a little bit, so to speak, and he has a chance to right the ship and add a good start tonight.
Yes, and hopefully a good outing for him when he comes in today because, like we talked about, the Unicorns are really facing a tough season this year. And usually in the past, the Unicorns are one of our best performing teams in the league, and Mammoths usually seem to be on the struggling side. But we see it flip this year. Actually, I've talked to some fans who are really excited to see that different dynamic this year, looking for a bit of a change in the league. I talked to a guy yesterday who said he really wants to see the Hoppers, the Mammoths, with their name on that USPBL trophy this year. But also going into the Mammoths, Bo Atkins on the mound tonight, like we've talked about. It's going to be his last ever baseball game today, professional baseball game. Maybe he'll still keep it up afterwards, but we're really looking to see Bo on the mound tonight. Talked to Taylor Jellikowski just a few minutes ago, and he said that he told Bo he's out there until his arm falls off tonight.
Bo has been one of the better guys in the Mammoths bullpen this season. Not a ton of starts, but does get one today, and we'll see how it goes for the righty on the mound. It's Atkins versus Armstrong. It's Mammoths versus Beavers coming up here on the USPBL Network. We've got your starting lineups and Ascension pitcher comparison after the break here on the pregame show. Stick around.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Welcome back to the ballpark. Getting ready for a Sunday afternoon matchup between the Beavers and the Mammoths. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Brendan Shabath, alone in the booth today. Hope you are going to enjoy this broadcast. We've got a good game for you between the Beavers and the Mammoths. Beavers sitting in third place as of right now, 16-19 on the year, 4 games back of the 20-15 Westside Woolly Mammoths. Let's take a look at today's presenting sponsors of the USPBL Network as we celebrate 100 years of Disney today. It's brought to you by Fairytale Entertainment, Ascension, Belfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, Dave & Buster's, DTE Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Jarbcom, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, McQuaid Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Refrigeration, Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, and United Wholesale Mortgage. We thank all our proud sponsors for everything they do for the USPBL and the USPBL Network. The lineups have been exchanged at home plate, and they're being announced on the video board here in Jimmy John's Field. So let's take a look at the details on the broadcast, beginning with the visiting Westside Woolly Mammoths. The Mammoths home in the game yesterday, the visitors today, and a change at the top of the order, as we mentioned, with the injured Burl Dixon. Nick Webb back out in left field and leading off again today. Talked to Taylor Jellikowski about that decision. We'll get into that later. Trey Williams-Nelson is out in center and in the 2-hole. Our player of the game last night, brought to you by Detroit News with the go-ahead game-winning double late in that game. Patrick Mills is in right. He'll bat third. Fox Liam, his 5th home run of the year last night. He's the cleanup man over at first base defensively. Livingston Morris hit a ground ball 108 miles an hour yesterday for a base hit. One of the hardest hit balls all year. He's the DH batting 5th. Alex Garbasic is over at the hot corner defensively. He'll bat 6th. Colby Seltzer is up the middle at second base batting 7th. Zach Beadle relieves Scott Combs, who caught yesterday. It'll be Beadle with the duties behind the dish tonight. batting 8th, and then Trevor Austin rounds out the 9 and will be in the 6-hole defensively. They're led on the mound by Bo Atkins, making his 3rd start of the season. Atkins will face the 16-19 Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers as we take a look at their lineup. Chris Davis, as always, the leader in almost every positive hitting category, the center fielder and the leadoff man today. Christian Ortega is at 3rd base defensively and will bat 2nd. J.D. Stubbs on the other side of the diamond will bat 3rd as he's over at 1st base. Malik Bolin is the left fielder today, batting cleanup. Ray Hilbrick on the other side is the right fielder, batting 5th. Rudy Ramirez missed a couple of games. He's back as the designated hitter, batting 6th. Luke Stevenson has the duties behind the dish for the Beavers as he is the 7th batter. Marcus Judd is up the middle as usual with Ben Wilcoxon. Judd, the 2nd baseman, Wilcoxon, the shortstop. On the mound today for the Beavers is Jake Armstrong, the 23-year-old native of Bloomington, Illinois. Looks to make his 8th start and hopefully make it a good one. And let's, with that, take a look at the numbers for these two pitchers on the season. The pitcher comparison, as always, brought to you by Ascension. The win-loss column is pretty slim for both of these guys. The ERA, really good for Bo considering how many innings he's thrown. He's in the upper echelon of the league and of the Mammoths with 31 1/3 this year at a 4.60. Jake Armstrong at 31 2/3 has been one of the best pitchers in the league at the 1.14 ERA. Opponents are hitting just 2.11 off of Jake this season. Hits 36-26, and look at the strikeouts. Bo Atkins, one of the best strike throwers in the entire league, 41 punch-outs in 31 1/3 innings. Very impressive. Armstrong with good numbers in that category as well. Low walks and about average strikeouts when you look at it on as a rate stat. 24-8 is the number so far this season. Just about done with starting lineups. That means the national anthem is on the way from downtown Utica. Cloudy skies, sunny day, warm weather. We've got baseball coming up in just a few moments after these words on the US PBL Network.
Jimmy John's Field is the perfect venue for birthday parties, summer picnics, company outings, and provides the best entertainment in Metro Detroit with great baseball all summer long. Spend your summer nights under the lights at Jimmy John's Field in historic downtown Utica.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Sunday Funday, brought to you by Fairytale Entertainment. Mammoths and Beavers just a few moments away from the first pitch. Nick Webb, Dre Williams-Nelson, and Patrick Mills, as we mentioned, in the Mammoths starting lineup, going against Jake Armstrong, the 23-year-old native of Bloomington, Illinois. Armstrong this season, a 1.14 ERA, like we talked about during the Ascension pitcher comparison, and 31 2/3 innings of work. He's actually given up 10 total runs this season, but only 4 of them have been earned. So he's had to deal with a couple of defensive struggles behind him. And this is a Beavers team that sits last in fielding percentage on the season. And we mentioned fielding percentage does not tell a perfect story of the defense. You look at Chris Davis out in center field. You look at the double play combination up the middle with Ben Wilcoxon and Marcus Judd. J.D. Stubbs is a good first baseman over there. He's significantly improved this year. Fielding percentage doesn't tell the full story. This is a good Beavers defense. Jake Armstrong has just gotten a little bit unlucky with some of the runs that have been tacked on. But again, they're unearned. Walks are low. The lowest walk per 9 rate of any Beavers pitcher this season. It's a Beavers pitching staff that has struggled as they sit last in the league in team ERA. But Armstrong, as we mentioned, one of the best pitchers, not just on the Beavers, but in the league, has that four-seam slider changeup mix that works so well. Let's look at that aforementioned defense that will be behind him today, brought to you as always by Three Dimensional Services. So it's Bolin in left, Davis in center, and Hilbrick in right. Ortega and Stubbs are on the corners. Wilcoxon and Judd, like we talked about, up the middle, 2 steady-handed defenders, and Luke Stevenson's behind the plate rounding out the battery. Umpires are ready. Maybe not. Now that gate out in left field is still open, as you see on the left side of your screen, just behind Malik Bolin, so we can't start yet. And I don't see anybody rushing over there to close it. There's someone back. There we go. Sopranos Catering with some screen time. Gates closed. Players are ready. Umpires are ready. Nick Webb is ready, and we're ready for first pitch here on the USPBL network. Webb, a 180 average in his scattered playing time this year. We talked about the injury for him. First pitch in, above the zone slider, 1 ball, no strikes at 1:02 here on Sunday. Another slider, that one still stayed up. You can see Stevenson behind the plate kind of tilt his head. He thought that was a strike. Now the 2-0. Fastball, hard hit right side. That is going to drop in the gap for a base hit. This will be extra bases for Webb. Davis giving it chase. He picks it up on the warning track, quickly throws it into Judd. How about a leadoff double for Nick Webb? Came off the bench last night on short notice, went 1 for 3 with an RBI single and a walk. And then after 3 pitches today, starts things off with a double. Webb, a guy who played at LSU all the way back in 2018. Only played there for a season, but we mentioned with Fox Liam, you do a double take anytime you see a guy from the SEC in this league. Well, LSU just won a College World Series last year. And that's where Webb is from. Williams-Nelson, player of the game last night, puts it out into right. Softly hit. This might be drop a no. Hilbrick races forward and gets it in time. Williams-Nelson flies out for the first out. Patrick Mills, one of 3 lefties in the lineup. We talked about maybe the speculation for Taylor Jellikowski with Burl Dixon being hurt and Nick Webb taking his place. That doesn't mean Webb has to be at the top of the lineup as the leadoff hitter, but that's where he is. And I asked Jelly about that. He said he partially wanted to have Williams-Nelson. He thought Williams-Nelson could lead off. He wanted to have Williams-Nelson in the 2-hole to break up the lefties, because if it was Webb in the 2-hole, it'd be 3 lefties in a row. Thought about maybe moving Garbasic up from the 6th slot to the leadoff man, but he said Garbasic's swinging the bat so well, he doesn't want to mess with that at all. So he leaves him down there. Mills fouls the 1-1 off. And he trusts Webb, even though it's been only 15 games this season. Trusts Webb to do some damage up at the top and get on base, as he already has with the leadoff double. Now the 1-2 to Mills, outside. Webb off a second. 2-2 is put into center field, slicing away. That's going to drop. Webb had to go back to second base for a moment. Davis bobbles it for a second as well. They finally get it in. Runners on the corners off the bat of Patrick Mills with a good swing. Wasn't pretty off the bat of Mills, but he is just going to like that that ball touched grass. He's had some good swings lately, and asking Taylor Jellikowski, Mills had some really good batting practices, and he's got a nice swing at the plate. He's just too hard on himself, Jelly says. Has to just play baseball. 76 miles an hour. Liam swings right over it. No balls and a strike. Now the 0-1. Swing and a miss again. That was the changeup. No balls and 2 strikes. Liam with a near 1,100 OPS in his 21 games this year. Behind 0-2 as the sun shines on Jimmy John's Field. On the ground, could be 2. Judd flips to Wilcoxon for 1. Throw to first. Double play. Marcus Judd and Ben Wilcoxon, we talked about them. Arguably the best combination up the middle in the league, and they shine right there, saving a run on the 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Still 0-0 from Jimmy John's Field. Inning-ending double play stops a decent Mammoths first inning. Now in the bottom of the first for the Beavers, it'll be Chris Davis, Christian Ortega, and J.D. Stubbs against Bo Atkins from Riverton, Illinois, in his second USPBL season, making his 3rd start this year. The last time Bo made a start was almost a month ago, back on July 15th. That was against the Hoppers in a doubleheader, the first game of a doubleheader, and it wasn't great for Bo. 2 2/3, 5 earned runs on 5 hits. Did strike out 5 batters, but he also walked 4. So he's looking for a better start this time around. With this being his 3rd start, he surpasses his total in starts last season with 2 in 6 appearances. For Bo, it's a four-seam fastball and a sinker. Slider, forkball, curveball. That forkball has been one of his better pitches this year.
The Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, the center fielder number 8, Chris Davis.
Davis has been one of the best hitters in the league. Has been around 340 with the batting average all season long. It really hasn't wavered one way or another for Davis. Takes a first pitch fastball for a strike. You can count on Davis to get on almost every other at bat. Swings over the breaking ball, and Bo Atkins is quickly ahead, 0-2. Sinker just missing outside. Good pitch. Davis wouldn't offer at it. Another 1-2. Inside slider. Davis just got out of the way. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We mentioned this is Bo's final game this season. Two. Out into center. Good swing off the bat of Chris Davis. That goes all the way to Williams Nelson. Hard turn around first, but Davis goes back to the bag. He'll start things off with a single. Each team with a leadoff base knock. Davis is aboard for Christian Ortega. Davis has base stealing speed at first as well. 8 for 11 on the year. See if he tries to get in an early good spot for these Beavers. These Beavers that need some offense, need some wins. And the 0-1 to Ortega, fouled back, 0-2. This is what Atkins did to Davis, and he saw 2 pitches outside the zone and then lined that base hit into center. Ortega, 23 years old, from Miami, Florida. 2 seasons at Davis and Elkins in West Virginia, and then 2 seasons at Tusculum in Tennessee in the South Atlantic Conference. Now the 0-2, swing and a miss. Got him with the sinker just outside. Ortega swung through it, and that's the first strikeout of the day for Bo Atkins.
Next up for the Beavers, the first baseman, number 23, J.D. Stubbs.
Going back to this being Atkins' last game of the season. He's going to be out there until his arm falls off, as Taylor Jellikowski put it. Bo is going to go give it everything he can. Leave nothing in the tank. Forkball outside, 1-0 to Stubbs. Missing again with the fastball. 2 balls, no strikes to Stubbs, who got his 2nd home run of the season last week. A 700+ OPS on the year for the first baseman. 3 just outside the strike zone, all pretty close. That one another sinker from Atkins that misses. Stubbs is in a good hitter's count. Davis not really moving off at first base at all. The 3-0. Atkins finds it low and in. High foul fly out of the right side. Fills up the count, 3-2. These Beavers, 2 wins and 3 losses in the month of August. The run scoring is heavily inflated by a 19-3 win just over a week ago against the Unicorns. Stubbs the other way this time, and that will also go foul as it gets into the Beavers bullpen. A 19-3 win against the Unicorns. Marcus Judd had a grand slam in the first inning in that game. Ever since that inning, it was all Beavers. Davis off of first, the 3-2 with one down. Slider outside. Stubbs a little hesitant to sling that bat back towards the dugout, but he does work a long walk on 7 pitches. Now 2 on for Malik Bolin. Atkins follows up his first walk of the day, or follows up his first strikeout of the day with his first walk. Slider, Bolin swinging on the first pitch, lifts it to right field. Mills ranges over. Davis going back to tag at second base, faking. He does not go. It's in quickly, and 2 down on 1 pitch. Now Ray Hilbrick's turn. Hilbrick dominated the GLIAC at Purdue Northwest in his college days. 5 seasons there. That domination mainly coming in the last 2 years. Swings at the first pitch, going the opposite way, but slicing foul. He led the conference. A good baseball conference, I might add. Here mainly right around Michigan, the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. In batting average, he led them. Swings and hits one out to center field. Williams Nelson right there for it. Good swing off the bat of Hilbrick. A couple runners for the Beavers, but they get stranded. Scoreless first inning between the Mammoths and the Beavers here on the USPBL Network. We'll come back with the second inning after these words on your home for USPBL Baseball.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and discover the funner you hidden within you. The you that doesn't think about adult things and stuff. Ashley, I don't want to hear anything about your car registration when we're at Dave & Buster's.
Okay.
The you want to be. Let the Dave & Buster's method illuminate you. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
Scoreless first inning. Mammoths and Beavers on the USPBL Network. 4 hitters sent to the plate for the Mammoths. Their first time up. 2 of them got a base hit. But that inning ended with a nice 4-6-3 double play off the bat of Fox Liam. That means the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, Livingston Morris, Alex Garbasic, and Colby Seltzer, are due up still against Jake Armstrong. We talked about the Beavers' record in the month of August. The Woolly Mammoths have only lost 1 game this month. They're 4-1. The Hoppers, the hottest team in the league right now, on a 5-game win streak. Hoppers don't play again until Wednesday this week. That'll be on the USPBL Network, 7:05 between the Hoppers and these Beavers. First pitch to Morris above the strike zone, ball one. The velocity is not on the upper end. In fact, it's on the lower end for Jake Armstrong this year. Slider getting away, 2 balls, no strikes. That four-seam fastball that mixes with the slider and changeup is around 82 miles an hour. Will not wow you with the velo. Slider swing and a miss, strike one. But he will wow you with the ERA, as we mentioned. 1.14 in 31 plus innings. Goes to show you that in a league like this, as the fastball misses, it's not all about high velocity, high spin rate. It's simply about getting outs. Armstrong does that better than most. Full count. Swing and a miss. Slider got him. First strikeout of the day for Jake Armstrong. And the first out in the second inning will bring up Alex Garbasic. That slider has been the kryptonite this year for Livingston Morris, who heads back to the dugout after swinging and missing. We talked about his batting practice yesterday and how he hit the Jimmy John's lettering of the scoreboard in left center field. And what did he see in the game after that batting practice that everybody saw? And if you didn't see it, you heard it off of his bat, and you heard it in the rumblings, the gossip columnists within the league. By that I mean the players and coaches who love to gossip about each other. All lighthearted, of course. But so what did Livingston Morris see after having that batting practice? Nothing but off speed. Don't throw that guy a fastball. You might never see the baseball again. Alex Garbasic for the first time today looks at a ball outside. 2-2. Garbasic talked about how good he's been and why Taylor Jellikowski has left him here in the 6 hole because of how good he's been. Doesn't want to mess with his swing. It's a high fly ball to center. Playable for Davis. 2 up and 2 down. Remember asking last week, asking Jelly why Alex has been so good. And he put it really simply, really accurately. He said he's just playing baseball. Garbasic, one of the best infield defenders this year over at third base. Plus defender, plus hitter. Not stressing, not too hard on himself. He's doing what Jelly has wanted everybody in his lineup to do. Just play the game. And I thought it was interesting when talking to Jelly about Garbasic and deeper into that mindset. He said Alex is not worried about doing the things he thinks he needs to get signed by a major league team out of the USPBL. 3 balls and no strikes on Seltzer. He's not checking his numbers. He's not trying to force the issue in any one area of his game. As Seltzer sees 4 pitches outside the zone and works the first walk of the day from Armstrong.
Next up for the Mammoths, the catcher, number 3, Zach.
He said, simply put, Garbasic is just going and playing baseball and just trying to do the best he can every single day to help his team win. And he's done more than that. So Seltzer at first. The catcher, Zach Beadle, steps up. 2 on, 2 down, and 1 on. First pitch popped up. Infield for Judd. And quickly we're out of the inning. Still zeros on the scoreboard. Bottom of the second, Beavers looking to change it. They'll have the 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up when we come back on the USPBL Network.
There are things you can rely on in this world, like your dog being happy to see you, coffee getting you through the day, and the government changing business regulations. And when it comes to navigating those regulations, you can rely on Tryon and its team of attorneys. Tryon can also tackle time-consuming HR tasks like payroll and employee benefits, so you can stay focused on growing your business. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
Bottom of the second here on the U.S. PBL Network. Bo Atkins back on the mound. Should see Bo for a while as long as he doesn't have any long innings. A little bit of a longer first inning with 5 batters faced, but was able to get out of it pretty clean with only a single and a walk surrendered. Celebrating 100 years of Disney. Brought to you by Fairytale Entertainment here on Sunday Funday. Disney music all day, some performances. Gorgeous day for baseball. Always love a good day game. It's a little bit of an earlier morning for those that have to be here early, myself included, but it's always fun. Baseball started over 100 years ago being played during the day. That's how it's meant to be played. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday afternoon back home. Labor Day weekend coming up, end of summer. Hopefully you're out grilling, enjoying a good meal. Rudy Ramirez takes a strike on the first pitch from Bo Atkins. It'll be Ramirez, Stevenson, and Judd due up. Ramirez thought about it, laid off the slider that started as a strike and broke out of the zone to ball 2. Rudy this season, .236 average in almost 20 games. Whoa, there goes the bat. Swung and missed at the two-seamer. 2-2. Second time that's happened in the last 2 games. Not for Rudy, but just at this ballpark. Now he'll go add some pine tar. Helen Rivas on Facebook says, we are watching Bo Atkins from Bo Atkins' hometown, cheering for our grandson and the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Atkins on the mound, fires a fouled back strike. 2-2. Darren Lee Pennick from last inning says, oh yeah, a strikeout, go Bo. And he plunked him. Just lost control of the fastball a little bit. And Rudy Ramirez will reach as the leadoff man. All smiles after taking the fastball off the number. That brings up the catcher, Luke Stevenson. Casey Atkins Williams says, that's my brother, go Bo. Slider just missing on the front door to Stevenson. 1 ball, no strikes. Luke, a Mitten State native from Algonac over on the east side of the state. Swings and misses through strike one. Right on the St. Clair River, Algonac. Slider, perfectly placed, low and outside. They think Luke's going to be a good player in this league. Young guy, 23 years old, still has a lot of growth in him. Runner goes, Ramirez down to second. Beetle bobbled it on the catch, and it gets into center field. Ramirez fakes to go to third, but stays at second base after the steal. Rudy perfect on the season, 7 for 7. In stolen bags. Ball missed outside, so it's 2-2 on Stevenson. Luke, some decent college numbers. Hit for power, never really hit for average too consistently. Swings and misses here. Second strikeout of the day for Bo. Slider got him, and that's the first out in the second inning. Now striding to the plate, the second baseman Marcus Judd, who's feeling good after his first professional home run, a grand slam, as we mentioned a week ago, back in the first inning against the Unicorns. Righty on righty. Slider well placed again. Strike one. Atkins much better against right-handed hitting this year than lefties. Opponents in total are hitting just above 270 against Bo. Fastball up. The 1-1. Lifted foul. We mentioned that Bo hasn't made a start. This is just his third of the year. He hasn't started since July 15th, almost a month ago. He last pitched just over a week ago, back on the 4th against the Unicorns. It was in an 11-5 win for these Mammoths. Slider, high chop to third. Garbasic charges. That's an easy out. Ramirez will go to third. Aggressive base running from Rudy Ramirez. Waited for the third baseman Garbasic to field and throw. And as soon as he saw that, he took off for the third base bag and gets there safely. Now he has a chance to break this game open. So Judd is out on the 5-3 putout. Ramirez advances on the throw. He's 90 feet from scoring as Ben Wilcoxon steps up. Wilcoxon, not your mom's 9-hole hitter. .664 OPS this season. Gets on base a decent amount. Good hitter at the bottom of the order. They love letting him be down in the 9th spot and turn the lineup over. Behind 0-2 here. Ramirez will look for anything in the dirt that might get by Beetle. Wilcoxon tight to the plate in the right-handed batter's box. The pitch from Atkins outside. So that last outing for Bo on the 4th, 3 1/3 innings, it was a very good outing. Only 1 earned run on 3 hits. Struck out 5 batters and only walked 1. 1-2. Wilcoxon barely staying alive out in front of the off speed. Caught a piece. Approaching 40 pitches for Atkins. My memory serves me right. He'll be around 60 or 70 as the limit. Tight to Wilcoxon. He just got out of the way. Back up the middle, and this game is scoreless no longer. Ramirez steps on the plate. Wilcoxon, with a 2-out base hit, brings the runner home. Beavers lead at 1-0 in the bottom of the 2nd to get us started. cannot count Wilcoxon out of any at bat. Fell behind 0-2. Took a couple close ones. Nearly got hit. Put a liner right back over the mound. Lineup turns over to Davis. Slider misses well outside to the lefty. Davis singled his first time up. Now waits on the 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike one. Davis, the home run leader for the Beavers with 6, was the league leader for a couple weeks until Joe Burke caught fire. He's got 8 now. Davis hits a high fly ball to center. Williams Nelson backpedaling to make the catch. Beavers get a score first off the bat of Ben Wilcoxon. Rudy Ramirez comes around. They lead it 1-0 after 2. We'll head to the third. Mammoth's going to take their chance on offense after the break on the USPBL Network.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Fifth Third Extra Time helps you do you better. So kick back and relax. You have extra time to avoid overdraft fees. Fifth Third Extra Time. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Time for the third, and when it's time for baseball, it's time for beer. Two Hearted Ale has been named the #1 beer in America for the past 4 years by members of the American Homebrewers Association. Play ball with the best. Two Hearted Ale, the iconic American IPA from Bell's Brewery in Comstock, Michigan. Please drink responsibly. So here in the third, it'll be Trevor Austin, Nick Webb, and Dre Williams Nelson scheduled for the Mammoth. Now trailing by a run thanks to Ben Wilcoxon, who you see on your screen right there. First pitch to Austin. Center field, dropping in front of Chris Davis. One pitch and a base hit. Austin, a nice swing. Lineup turns over to Nick Webb, who's already got a hit today. So Armstrong at pitch number 31 on the way. He and Atkins around the same total. Atkins a little bit higher. Armstrong has faced 4 batters in each of his first 2 innings. No more than that. Missing outside with the changeup, 1 ball, no strikes. Austin over at first, not a base stealing threat, only stole 4 times the last college season he had at Mercer. He will get worked back to the bag, though. He is dancing over there. Certainly has the speed to steal if he wanted to. Just doesn't often do it. close on the black, a called ball. Webb in a good hitter's count. He took a 2-0 pitch to right center for a double last time. Now waits on the 3-0. Inside, ball 4. You could tell Webb wanted to swing the bat, but just couldn't at that pitch. Does a nice job to lay off. First 2 are on. Single, walk, and now Dre Williams-Nelson will come up. First pitch strike on the slider. Armstrong going to look for a ground ball here. He can get it off the bat of Nelson. He's grounded into 3 double plays this season. More than any Mammoth when you consider he's only played 13 games as well. Adds even more weight to that number. Armstrong is not a ground ball pitcher. Almost double the flyouts compared to the groundouts. The 1-1. Lifted foul. Wind has been favoring right field the last 2 days at Jimmy John's Field. It's been pretty, just a soft, light, consistent breeze today. A little bit of gamesmanship on the infield. Austin dancing off Judd, holding him on at second base. That's Webb over at first. And now Armstrong a little concerned with the runners. Will step off. One-two, swing and a miss. Fastball up. That's the hardest one Armstrong has thrown today at 85. Gets a big strikeout for the first out. His second K of the day. Now Patrick Mills' turn. First pitch, bouncing foul. Just going back to the runners, these are the 2 teams that steal the most of any in the league. And not just stealing, I'd argue to say they're both the most aggressive on the bases, especially the Mammoths. More so on the ball in play rather than pitch-to-pitch stolen bases. Mills, the 0-1. Skips away. Stevenson has to go chase it down. Both runners will move up. Austin over to third. Webb to second. Force play no longer on with only 1 out and 2 in scoring position. Mammoths looking to respond after giving up the first run in this game last inning. We've talked about the good swings that Mills has had in the last couple days. He had a base hit his first time up. Chance to bring home a couple runners. 1-1. Swing on the ground to the right side. Judd picks it up. Austin will come home as Judd throws to first. It's an RBI ground out for for Patrick Mills, doing his job as Webb moves up to third. Austin scores, and the Mammoths have tied it 1-1. Liam grounded into a double play his first time up. No risk of that here. First pitch swinging, and that's a foul ball. 0-1 high pop-up. Playable on the infield. Wilcoxon ranging over. He'll call off Ortega. Drift back to make the grab. Lost his sunglasses in the process, but still able to see and make the catch. Mammoths give up a run in the second, respond with a run in the third. That is our 5th third out of the game, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. On the USPBL network, put out goes P6 for the third out. We'll head to the bottom of the third, but not before JJ makes a little trip out to right field. Delivers some water to our field umpire. He gets aptly rewarded with a treat as well. He'll sit down. Kara's got the DTE Kid Race the mascot down on the field.
He told me he's really good, but he just knows how to run fast. So he's very excited for today. Look, he's pointing around the bases. He knows where he's going. Are you ready, Gabriel?
Yep.
Yes, he is ready. Okay, I'm gonna count him down. We got Buzz the Beaver on second base, ready to go. All right, Gabriel, you're gonna follow Buzz, okay, buddy? 3, 2, 1, take off. This way, Gabriel. This way, this way, this way. Go, go, go. Cheer him on, guys. Let's hear it for him. There we go, Gabriel. He's so fast, he's gonna pass second base. Here he comes, I'm coming home. Oh, Buzz is really tired. Keep coming, Gabriel. This way, right towards me, right towards me. Big high fives, and he's saved. Good job, Gabriel. Good try, Buzz. Come this way, buddy. Here we go. All right, we'll send it back up to Johnny now.
Gabriel with a win, beating Buzz, the mascot for the Beavers in today's Kid Race, the mascot. Christian Ortega, J.D. Stubbs, Malik Bolin, the scheduled hitters for the Beavers in the bottom of the third. It was Rudy Ramirez who reached as he was hit by a pitch to lead things off in the second. He was brought around thanks to Ben Wilcoxon. Ortega struck out his first time up. Atkins looking for a quick inning. Hasn't had one yet. You see the pitch count, 43. Ortega, check swing. Went too far. Third inning brought to you by Budweiser on the USPBL network. Cigar Basic. Sounds like it broke his bat off the end of the bat, and that's one out on the liner.
Next up, first baseman number 23, J.D. Stubbs. High school, J.D. won the chemistry student.
Now Stubbs' turn.
Played for Georgia Florida Grizzlies, where his last 2 seasons hit .320 with a .532 slugging percentage.
First pitch outside, 1 ball, no strikes. We always talk about the Georgia Gwinnett to the USPBL pipeline. Stubbs, hard hit ball to right. Too hard. Right to Mills as he is a little hop up to make the catch. Stubbs smoked it. Nearly 100 off the bat. But quickly, 2 outs. We talked about Bo Atkins needing a quick inning. He's only thrown 3 pitches. Bolin flew out the first time up. Takes a ball inside. Going back to Stubbs being from Georgia Gwinnett. He's one of the founders, if you can call it, of the Georgia Gwinnett pipeline. 1-0 check swing. He went around. 1-1. The original founder is Greg Lokinen, who was the pitcher of the year 2 seasons ago here in the league. Left about midway through the year last year. He was a Mammoth. Now he's back with the Beavers. Greg's made 1 appearance with them in his return so far. Not expecting to see him today. He's primarily been a starter. But those were the first 2 from Georgia Gwinnett. Now we've got 5 or 6 guys, all of which who won a national championship together 2 years ago down in Georgia. Ryan Mann, pitcher for the Beavers, is from there. Livingston Morris is Georgia Gwinnett. Jonathan Habb on the Mammoths. It's mainly Mammoths and Beavers that are from there. 3-1, fastball right down the gut. Bolin may be taking all the way. Fills up the count at 3-2. The payoff pitch. Outside, he walked him. They want the appeal. They're going to get it. He didn't go. So 2 strikeouts and 2 walks today for Atkins. With 2 outs, the inning is not over yet. Ray Hilbrick will come up. Again, Atkins much better against right-handed hitting than left. 3 lefties in the lineup today for the Beavers. Hilbrick, one of them. Flew out his first time, skips in the dirt. Beetle makes sure Bolin gets back to the bag. Now they're going to back pick. Close. Liam didn't apply the tag. Would have been close had he tried to. 2 pitches that Beetle makes Bolin be a little more respectful over at first. The 2-0. Swing on the ground to second base. Seltzer just underhand flips it to first. Easy 4-3 put out. The walk does no harm. It's still 1-1 after 3 innings here on the US PBL Network. We go to the 4th.
What are the odds that we're neighbors, we've known each other our whole lives, and both tear the exact same things in this exact same knee?
So an ACL tear is an injury to the main stabilizing structure of the knee.
You want a good team around you because then you know that what you're doing is going to help you in the long run.
My message to everyone who's helped me, thank you so much because you guys helped me progress so much.
Also hearing it from a friend that's went through the exact same thing, I think sort of helps that know that there's a bright side at the end.
Mammoths batting in the 4th. Livingston Morris, Alex Garbasic, and Colby Seltzer due up. That trio went strikeout, flyout, walk to start the 2nd inning. Then Zach Beetle got up and popped out. Looking for better fortune this time around. Still both starters on the mound as we're into the 4th. Jake Armstrong has walked 2 batters, punched out 2, given up 3 hits and a run. First pitch slider, Morris smoked it foul though. We talked about his ground ball from yesterday, Livingston Morris, that was 108 miles per hour off the bat. Talked to Taylor Jellikowski today, who played affiliate baseball with the Minnesota Twins, was a catcher signed out of this league. He said the hardest ball he ever hit in his life was 110. And that was a home run. Morris flicked the ground ball between the third baseman and shortstop yesterday at 108. That last foul ball was at 108. Swinging the bat and hitting the ball hard. I don't want to harp on it too much, but man, you just can't help but think it's got to be coming soon. The 2-2. Swings and pops it up. Stubbs is there right by the bag at first base, but thankfully avoids it, makes the catch.
Now batting the third baseman, number 6, Alex Garbasic.
Garbasic flew out to center field on a good swing the first time. First pitch fastball up the middle on 4 hops. Wilcoxon scoops it off his shoe tops and throws to first. Get him. Nice play. Ben Wilcoxon, not your typical shortstop, more of a second baseman by trade. He's characterized, talking to some of his teammates, he's a second baseman with a great arm, so he can play shortstop. He's just such an athlete out there. You could probably put him anywhere and he'd be a plus defender. Strike 1 to Seltzer. Walked on 4 pitches the first time up against Armstrong. And the 0-1. Not getting the call on the changeup. Slider, swing and a miss. Fastball. 86 from Armstrong. The velocity's gone up as this game has gone on. Missing outside though. Now the 2-2. Changeup got him. Swinging right over the top. Strike 3 on the swing and miss. Strike out 3 for Jake Armstrong. 1, 2, 3 in the 4th for the Mammoths. We go to the bottom of the 4th with the Beavers batting after this.
With a transforming world, we can see how drastically the world is heading towards automation. And so, we need 24/7 surveillance and security systems for our homes and businesses to avoid any theft or breach of privacy. JARBCOM brings the installation of security cameras to the tip of your fingers with our state-of-the-art mobile app. JARBCOM also provides surveillance monitoring of your entire property with flexible options that offer a dependable solution to be scaled to fit any domestic or commercial need. Contact JARBCOM today for a free estimate at 800-369-0374 or look us up on the web at jarbcom.com.
Make your move with a quick and easy mortgage from Genesis Credit Union. We have mortgages to fit your life. Genesis Credit Union. Visit us today.
Bo Atkins still on the mound. No bullpen on either side is busy. These starters are going to go a decent ways here on Sunday afternoon. Sunday fun day from the ballpark. Kids having fun, interacting with the players. The USPBL dance crews out there celebrating 100 years of Disney today. It's a gorgeous day for baseball. We're having fun. We hope you're having fun on the broadcast wherever you're watching from. Atkins will face Ramirez, Stevenson, and Judd here in the 4th. Ramirez, the only run to come across so far today for the Beavers. That was 2 innings ago. He was hit by a pitch. He stole second, then got to third on a ground out and scored off the Wilcoxon single to center field. Pitch outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Fastball riding up, 4-seamer misses. Ramirez with decent discipline at the plate. Check swing, the appeal didn't go. 3 balls, no strikes. 4 walks to 16 strikeouts, but in 19 games in his first pro season, those are numbers you can definitely build on. Usually gives a good at-bat. Taking all the way in the 3-0. And he'll work a walk here. Number 5 of the season for Rudy, number 3 of the game for Atkins. For the second time today, Ramirez in the leadoff position gets on base. Stevenson swings at the first one and fouls it away. Last time Luke was up, we talked about the room for growth, the potential that this guy has. He already has some power. He's already hit 2 this year. Home runs, that is. Good slider, nearly breaking back. Atkins just missing it though on the front door, 1-1. And Luke hit 24 in his final 2 seasons at Elon in North Carolina in college. Swings and it's a high fly ball foul. Racing over his Garbasic. He might get to this one. He will not be able to catch it though. Tried to make the over the shoulder basket catch on a awkward fly ball. And it's just a long strike 2. Stevenson, before he went to Elon, spent 3 seasons at Xavier. Played there for 1 season with his younger brother, Grant, who's still over there at Xavier. Atkins throws back to first. A lot of baseball in the Stevenson family. Both Luke and Grant playing in college, and now Luke a pro. Their dad, Mike, played at Michigan State out in East Lansing. He was a center fielder there. Garbasic sliding, throws to second for 1. Seltzer over to first, not in time. It gets away from Liam. Stevenson will turn and try to rumble to second base. Beetle picks it up. He's going to try to throw him out, and they will. No, they're not going to get him. They do. Stevenson is out. I'm not sure what happened here, what the call is. John Dombrowski's going to go talk to our home plate umpire. Maybe, I mean, Stevenson was hustling to first base to beat out the double play, and it was a slowly turning double play. Garbasic had to slide, pick up, struggled on the transfer a little bit. Seltzer made a hard turn and throw to first, and it got away from Liam. The ball didn't go out of play. It bounced off the backstop, and the catcher Beetle fielded it. As he did that, Stevenson, seeing the wild throw, turned and headed for second. But he was running so hard that he was, by the time he turned towards second, onto the outfield grass. And I think time was called, and he must have been called out for being out of the baseline. That's the only thing that I can think of. The throw ended up beating Stevenson to second base anyways, but he had heard time was called, and by the time he heard that, was jogging over to second base, was no longer hustling. So that's your weirdest double play ever. And Marcus Judd is going to end the inning on the first pitch. Try to get an explanation in between the break. We're still tied at 1 apiece after 4. Innings over for the Beavers. We'll go to the 5th.
Third Bank. Yeah, it's a quirky name. But here's the thing, 5/3 equals 166.7%. So we put 166.7% into everything we do. Like automatically getting you your paycheck up to 2 days early, giving you well-deserved extra time to avoid overdraft fees, and helping you borrow from your future self. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
One, two, three inning for Jake Armstrong back in the fourth, so he's back out for the fifth. He'll face the 8, 9, and 1. Beadle, Austin, and Webb of the Mammoths. Just kind of going back to the way the bottom of the fourth ended. So to recap, Rudy Ramirez got on via the walk. And then right after that is kind of where the inning went crazy. Stevenson grounded it to the third baseman, Garbasic. He fielded and threw to second. It got Ramirez out there. And on the throw to first, it skipped away from Liam. Stevenson was likely going to beat it out anyways, but then on the wild throw, after he was hustling his way past first, he tried to turn and go towards second, and then we speculate, no official word yet up here in the booth, that he was called out for being out of the base path. But by rule, when that happens on a wild throw and the runner goes from first to second, as long as when you make your turn, you run in a straight line to second base, you are not out and still in play. First pitch off the bat of Beadle is a fly out to center field as Chris Davis squeezes it. And as far as I can judge, that's what Beadle did. Or excuse me, Stevenson did, the other catcher. He turned, went for second, and went on a straight line, and then heard time was called and began jogging because he probably thought the ball went out of play, as it typically does on wild throws to first. And instead, he was just out. Austin singled and scored back in the third, the only run for the Mammoths. Facing a 1-1 count now. So nonetheless, we're on to the fifth. Just a weird end to that fourth inning. Greg called it the slider. Got it on the outside. Change up breaking under the zone. 2-2 on Austin. Top of the fifth. Pitch number 60 out of the hand of Armstrong. And to go back to that slider, that was actually the fastball with some movement, but it missed outside. 3-2. Austin will see another, fights it off foul, tried to bust him in on the hands. Two again. Hard off the bat. Wilcoxon on the backhand. Nice play, a nice pick by Stubbs over at first. On both ends, the fielders their money's worth on the second out. But out goes 6-3. Lineup turns over. Webb has reached in each of his first two at-bats. And each time he's reached, he's gotten over to third, but then been left out there. A double in the first inning, a walk in the third. See what he can do here in the fifth. He looks at a strike, 1-1. Swings and misses at the changeup, 1-2. Webb will step out, likely call time here. No, he's just going to dig back in, ready to go. Deep in the left-handed batter's box. Armstrong likes facing lefties. He's better against them than the right side, actually. Shows it again. Swing and a miss. 4th strikeout of the day. And back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. Armstrong has retired the last 8 batters in a row. See if he can get some run support on the other side of the break here on the US PBL Network.
We build roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers. Our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Bottom of the 5th, Wilcoxon, Davis, Ortega, 9-1 and 2. Back here at Jimmy John's Field on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. Sunny skies, scattered clouds, not a raindrop in sight. It's a good thing with how rainy it's been this whole summer, really, here in Michigan. And I know a lot of you on the broadcast are not from here, watching from other states. And can't help but just kind of feel bad for some of these players who are not really from here a whole lot. Not used to this much rainouts, but it happens up here in the Mitten State. You get all 4 seasons of weather in one day, if you really wanted to. Wilcoxon looks at a Strider from Strider. A strike and a slider, that's what it was. Now 2 of them, strikes that is, to Wilcoxon. Spencer Strider, he's one of the best starters in Major League Baseball this year for the Braves. There's a good segue to check the Major League scoreboard, huh? 0-2, skips in 1 ball, 2 strikes. Always start with the Tigers. I got to be a little selfish. My hometown team, they're trailing to the Red Sox 6-3. That's in the top of the 8th out in Beantown. Talked about the Braves. Sunday night baseball. Braves and Mets, 7 o'clock. 2-2 up the middle. Seltzer has to back up to take the long hop, and that's a nice, smart play by Colby Seltzer at second base. A little bit awkward off the bat of Wilcoxon, but that is the first recorded out in the 5th. Now Davis for the 3rd time. First pitch outside edge, called strike 1. Sunday, so plenty of games going on right now in Major League Baseball. Colby Seltzer busy this inning. Another nice play. Fields it on a hip high bounce for the 2nd out. Back-to-back 4-3 putouts. Twins and Phillies out in Philly. 1-0 Twinkies in the top of the 3rd. Battle of 2 of the worst in their respective leagues, the A's and the Nationals. That does not give enough credit to the Nats. A's have 33 wins this year. The Nats have 52, and they're the 2nd worst team in the NL. Says a lot about the National League. Nats are the 2nd worst in the NL. They've got 52 wins. The Tigers are technically still in the race for the AL Central. They have 53 wins. 1-1. Shallow right. This will be Mills coming in a few steps. Quickly 3 up and 3 down. That's back-to-back innings where Bo Atkins has faced the minimum. 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the 5th. Still tied at 1. Getting to the later stages of this game. We'll move on to the 6th here in the U.S. PBL Network.
Companies are competing for talent like never before. With the complexities of handling tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and other HR functions, it's easy to see how a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions makes all the difference. Tryon empowers businesses of all sizes to attract and retain talent by offering access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
The Dave & Buster's method is designed to help you unlearn adulthood and reset our life around zapping stuff and cheering for stuff with your friends. Begin the method today with 5 free games. You know you want to.
So Jake Armstrong's day is done after 5 innings. He did record, I was actually incorrect, more than 8 straight. It was 9 straight outs going back to the 3rd inning. But he's done, and now it'll be Brennan Cox, the lefty, on the mound. There you see the tally, the running tally that is, for today's game. 1 in the 3rd for the Beavers. Mammoths responded. 1 in the 2nd for the Beavers. Mammoths responded with 1 in the 3rd. Nothing since, as we're approaching the late stages of this game. Only 7 hits total. 3 belong to the Mammoths, 4 belong to the Beavers. Mammoths have left 3 runners on base. Beavers have left 4. Just not a lot of offense in this game. Not a lot of offense this week. Had a 2-1 game on Friday, 3-2 game yesterday, 1-1 right now. Certainly, with both of these offenses, more so we're referring to the Mammoths, but the Beavers are the 2nd best offense in the league. That can change pretty quickly. Again, these Beavers put up 19 runs a week ago in a hurry. That was early in the game, but you never know. So Brennan Cox takes over for Jake Armstrong. Cox, the 24-year-old native of Detroit. 6 seasons with his manager, John Dombrowski, at Wayne State. He's got 28 innings this year, mainly in a relief role. ERA hasn't been kind to Cox. 6.75 in those 28 innings. Gonna be a pitch to contact guy. First pitch to Williams Nelson, slider that breaks into the bat and is fouled away. Williams, Nelson, Mills, and Liam due up. Williams Nelson 0 for 2 today. Yesterday 1 for 4, but that one was the game winner. A RBI ground rule double in the 8th inning gave the Mammoths a 3-2 win. Falls behind 0-2 here. Slaps another one foul. 6th inning presented by Jarbcom. More movement in the Beavers bullpen. Mammoths one is still quiet. It's a lighthearted and almost facetious statement, but I don't think it's a joke when Taylor Jellikowski says Bo Atkins is going to pitch till his arm falls off. He is really going to be out there as long as he possibly can. The 0-2 swing and a miss. Cox comes on and gets a strikeout. His first of the day, 5th time a Mammoth has gone down via the K. 2nd for Williams Nelson. So a good start for Armstrong. 5 complete innings. Scattered 3 hits. The 1 run back in the 3rd. 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. Mentioned Cox being a pitch to contact guy. Typically with that, this doesn't go across all of baseball, it's more just in this league. The pitch to contact pitchers have a high opposing batting average. And is the case for Brennan. Opponents combined this season hitting above 300. The lefty-righty split is relatively equal as well. It's just 3 pitches for Brennan. 4-seam fastball, sweeper, and a circle change. Stevenson setting up low and away. Fastball misses low and in. And after the K, Mills gets a walk.
Next up for the Mammoths, the first baseman, number 15, Fox Leon.
1-on-1 out for Fox Liam, who hit a home run last night. Talked to Taylor Jilikowski about Liam. Says he might be the best Mammoth hitter he's ever had. Maybe Francis Florentino has that distinction. But Liam has just been so consistent. That's what's been most impressive. The numbers obviously jump off the page. A nearly 1,100 OPS. Check swing, he went around 0-2. The slugging percentage at .631 for Fox. And obviously a team leading 5 home runs and 15 RBIs. But it's the consistency that comes along with that that has been what's most impressive. 0-2, he takes a fastball high. Fox has not gone streaky at all, one way or the other this season. You can count on him to hit for average and power almost every game. Sweeper outside, the big breaking slider that is, out of the left hand of Brennan Cox. Two. Sweeper again. Missing. Liam obviously batting from the left side. Hasn't faced a ton of lefties this year. Hitting .222 against them. Payoff pitch. And he got him, strike 3 called. Liam thought it was outside the 4-seam fastball. Clips the edge, says the home plate umpire, and that's out number 2. 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, 1 swinging this inning for Cox. Liam still can't quite believe it as he takes that long walk back to the dugout. Cox is ready on the mound. He fires to Livingston Morris on the first pitch, and it's pounded foul, maybe off his foot. Morris on the ground to second. Judd, a high hop, and he snow cones it into his glove. Cat-like reflexes for Marcus Judd over at second base. A nice play to end the inning. Morris bounces out. The walk does no harm again. And in the 6th, we go to the bottom half of the inning. Beavers batting after the break.
At Ascension, Michigan, we're committed to being your first choice for healthcare. Our nationally recognized heart program is the leader throughout Michigan in minimally invasive heart valve procedures. For joint replacement, spine, and cancer care, patients choose our specialists for advanced care and treatment. And we also excel in the things that can't be measured. listening more closely, caring more compassionately.
You dreamed of starting a company, not an HR department, but your business has grown fast, and so have the complexities of payroll and taxes, benefits administration, and other HR functions. That's why your business needs a professional employer organization like Tryon Solutions. Tryon provides businesses of all sizes access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
Beavers batting in the 6th. J.D. Stubbs, Malik Bolin, Ray Hilbrick. Still Bo Atkins on the mound for the Mammoths. Couple fans departing in left field as the lefty Stubbs will dig in. 0 for 1 with a walk today. J.D. had a very hard hit. Smoked ball on his fly out to right his last time up. Stubbs has had an impressive season this year. Another hard hit, high foul fly on the first pitch. What I've been really impressed by JD, he's improved in the hitting category. Improved off of good numbers from a season ago. The OPS is up 100 points. From 6 to 7. More home runs, more RBIs, more everything. But what I've been most improved by with JD is his defense over at first base. You can tell it was a focal point of his off-season work. Slices one high foul. Maybe it stays fair for Garbasic. It does as he drifts back a foot into foul territory, or fair territory, for the first out on the pop-out. But Stubbs, call a spade, was not sure-handed at first base when he got to the league last year. Ended up getting 30 games after he came after the college showcase, but couple ground balls would get by him. A couple picks would not be made. Plays that he is making this year. Both as a defender on the ball in play and as a first baseman scooping and picking and catching on the force outs at the first base bag. Bolin takes a slider outside. Malik 0 for 1 with a walk himself, same as Stubbs. Slider inside, front door for a strike. Malik and Stubbs, see if it changes in this at bat, actually have the same box score today. Each with a walk, each with a fly out to right. 2-1, popped foul. Malik, a native of Fort Worth, Texas, a Rangers fan. Had some conversations with him about the Rangers and how good they are this year. 2-2 on the ground. Garbasic fielding it on the backhand. Long throw, and it won't be in time. Have enough mustard on it. Fox has to back up into foul territory to field it. Bolin with a hard ground ball and an infield single. That's the first hit for the Beavers since Ben Wilcoxon brought around Rudy Ramirez on the single to center field back in the 2nd inning. Bo Atkins has rolled through the 3rd, 4th, and 5th with no strikeouts, but only 2 walks and no hits until now. Hilbrick looks at ball 1. One-0 slider under the zone. 2 balls, no strikes on Hilbrick, who's 0 for 2. So we talked about Bolin's Rangers. They've got the Giants today. 4:05. That game on ESPN Plus out in San Francisco. Rangers rolling as of late. This is grounded to Liam. He'll go to second for 1. Throw back to first. Austin not in time. Liam got back to the bag to field it. But Hilbrick runs well. So Ray reaches on the fielder's choice. Ramirez for the third time. Now batting. Been a lot of sliders today for Atkins. That one lands well in the zone. Lifted to the right side. Long run for Mills. He's not going to get there. Lands out of play anyways. Talking about those Rangers, they've won 10 of their last 11 games. 70 on the season. They are World Series favorites within the American League. Angels and Astros scoreless in the top of the second. The dysfunctional Yankees lead the struggling Marlins 2-0 in the middle of the third. Miami, for a long stretch of the first half of the season, looked like the second best team in the NL. Now, they were double-digit games behind the best team in their division and in Major League Baseball, the Atlanta Braves. But since the All-Star break, Miami has fallen off the table completely. Since July 14th, only 8 wins for the Marlins. They entered the All-Star break 53-39. They now sit 61-57. Reds and Pirates, NL Central matchup going on today. A doubleheader. They're in the middle of the first game. Bottom of the fourth, Reds lead the Pirates 1-0 out in Pittsburgh. The Cubs are all of a sudden fighting for the top spot in the NL Central. Brewers, Reds, Cubs, kind of that race right now. They trail the Blue Jays 5-2 in Toronto. Ramirez on the ground to short, fielded by Austin. And Ramirez is out over at first. Nothing doing in the sixth for the Beavers. We've played 6 complete. And it's 1-1 as we head to the 7th. And you're home for USPBL Baseball.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Brennan Cox had the 6th. Jesse Galindo has the 7th. Looks like it might be relievers the rest of the way for the Beavers as their bullpen is still busy with the right-handed sidearm slinging Galindo on the mound for the 7th. Cox. 1 inning of work, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, nothing beyond that. Still 1-1 between these Beavers and the Mammoths. Top of the 7th means Alex Garbasic, Colby Seltzer, and Zach Beadle are due up. Galindo this season, couple starts, couple bullpen games, been in the bullpen as of late. Leads the Beavers in innings, 42 2/3 on the year. Also leads them in strikeouts with nearly 60. If he gets 3 here, he will reach the 6-0 mark. Low walks and high strikeouts. very improved numbers from a season ago. The walks are actually up, but the strikeouts, he's nearly doubled his strikeouts per 9 from last season to this season. Premium strike throwing. I think he's really developed a good mix of how to use the sidearm with also over the top. That's been what's so good for Galindo this season, the way he throws both arm slots. First pitch is a sidearm to Alex Garbasic. Slider, strike 1. Garbasic at the plate, and there's his family. Sitting just behind us at our first base camera, over on top of the Mammoths dugout. Swing and a miss as he swings over 85 miles an hour, 0-2. Garbasic, Michigan kid, 5 seasons at Madonna under his current manager, Taylor Jellikowski, and assistant manager, Justin Karn. Taylor Jellikowski no longer at Madonna, now the head coach at Macomb Community College. Galindo comes set. The 0-2. Inside, Garbasic got out of the way. So for Jesse, it's really only 4 pitches, but it's kind of like 6, maybe even 7 with the 2 different arm slots. Swing and a miss. Way out in front of the changeup. And a strikeout for Galindo records the first out. Now Colby Seltzer's turn. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk. So Galindo, it's only 4 distinct pitches, a fastball, changeup, curveball, and slider. But he throws the slider from the sidearm, the curveball from over the top, and he throws both the changeup and fastball from both arm slots. So it's 2 different changeups, 2 different fastballs, and 2 different breaking balls that come from the different arm slots. So it's really like 6 pitches. Seltzer takes this one out into right. That's going to drop for a base hit. Helbrick over to field it on a couple hops. And Colby Seltzer with his first hit of the day. We mentioned when the Beavers were batting, off the bat of Malik Bolin, his base hit was the first since the 2nd inning. For the Mammoths, that base hit the first since the 3rd. Austin singled and scored in that 3rd inning. They've had no base hits since then. Colby Seltzer ends the drought. It's just been some really good pitching today. Seltzer off of first. Stevenson looks him back. The catcher Beadle batting. Pair of contact outs so far today. That's 2 outside the strike zone. Barely getting back to the bag was Seltzer. Nice quick move from Galindo. Jesse getting the bottom of the order in the 7th. Scheduled 6, 7, and 8. Trevor Austin, the 9th, would be due up next. Strike on the fastball, 2-1 to Beadle. All right-handers from the 5-hole on down in Jellikowski's lineup. It's good for Galindo. Much better against righties than lefties this year. Swing and a miss. Beadle now falls even in the count, 2-2 after being ahead 2-0. We talked about the improvement for Galindo in the strike throwing. It's doubled from last season to this season. Almost everything has improved. ERA's gone down in more games as well. Slider outside. The one area that hasn't is his production against left-handed hitting. Righties has stayed relatively the same. Lefties are hitting Galindo much better and much harder this year than they were last year. Payoff pitch to Beadle. We'll see one more as he fouls it away. It's no surprise to see Jesse be better against right-handed hitters with that sidearm delivery. But last year, he was actually better against lefties than righties. 3-2 again, swing and a miss. Kind of a half cut from Beadle, fastball up in the strike zone, frustrated with himself. Second K for Galindo in the 7th, 2 outs. Trevor Austin with a good swing and a run scored today. Steps up, trying to flip this lineup over, keep this inning alive, maybe add some offense on the scoreboard. It's been a relatively quick game. We've played about an hour and a half, a little bit more than that of baseball. Into our 7th inning. Slider in the zone on Austin, 1-1. Trevor, we mentioned, played his college days at Mercer. From Georgia, stayed there for college. That's where Mercer is. Hits this one on the ground. Wilcoxon goes to second for the 3rd out. Judd collects it. Seltzer is out on the force out, and the Mammoths are out in the 7th. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Beavers trying to add some offense to this game. We're tied 1-1. Take Me Out to the Ballgame, as always, brought to you by Genesis Credit Union here on the USPBL Network.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Bottom of the 7th, bottom of the order scheduled. Stevenson, Judd, and Wilcoxon batting for the Beavers in a tied 1-1 ball game. They will still face the starter, Bo Atkins. Young fan enjoying the ball game today. Over in the umbrella section. So Atkins on the mound going into the 7th. Pitch count rising, and with that, finally, there is action in the Mammoths bullpen as Tyler Richley has begun throwing. Swing and a miss on the slider from Stevenson. Luke is 0 for 2 today. Had that weird sort of double play. I wrote in my scorebook 5-4-3 question mark, because if you remember, Luke had that double play in the 4th where he grounded to 3rd and then was safe at 1st on a wild throw. Williams Nelson will grab this one in center for the 1st out. So he was safe at 1st on a wild throw, and then when it went back to the backstop, he rounded and went to 2nd, and we think they called him out on the base paths. Hard to know. We haven't officially heard yet. So I put 5-4-3 question mark, because it wasn't really a double play. If you just go by who the baseball touched, it would have been 5-4-3-2-4, which just doesn't sound right for what actually happened on that play. Judd, slider, called strike. Marcus has 2 groundouts today. And maybe number 3 here as Austin goes back, throws. Nice throw. Falling away to the left side, throwing to his right to first base on that 2 bouncer up the middle. So now Judd has grounded out to every infield position except the first baseman, I should say. Put out goes 6-3 for out number 2. Ben Wilcoxon, the only RBI in the Beavers lineup today. For the third time, comes to the plate, looks at a fastball in. Velocity staying decent for Atkins, that last one on the scoreboard at 89. And a reminder that the scoreboard's a little bit slower than the actual TrackMan data will show. Wilcoxon out into center. That is diving and caught! Williams Nelson fired up, robbing Wilcoxon of his second hit of the game and ending the 7th inning. That guy can defend from anywhere. We'll go to the 8th, still tied at 1, and maybe thanks to that man.
What are the odds that we're neighbors, where you've known each other our whole lives, and both tear the exact same things in this exact same knee?
So an ACL tear is an injury to the main stabilizing structure of the knee.
You want a good team around you, because then you know that what you're doing is going to help you in the long run.
My message to everyone who's helped me, thank you so much, because you guys helped me progress so much.
Also hearing it from a friend that's went through the exact same thing, I think sort of helps that know that there's a bright side at the end.
Slide into a new home. Work with a local mortgage pro who works for you. Get a cheaper, faster, easier home loan. Find a mortgage broker near you today at findamortgagebroker.com.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Top of the 8th, top of the order. Nick Webb, Dre Williams-Nelson, Patrick Mills scheduled for the Mammoths. Dre Williams-Nelson with that unbelievable diving catch out in center field to end the 7th inning. So now Jesse Galindo did his work in the 7th. It'll be Nick Bonk in the 8th on the mound. Bonk, the right-hander out of Buffalo Grove, Illinois. Only 14 1/3 innings of work this year. Got here a little bit later. A good arm in this league, 4.40 ERA. Has made one start in his 11 appearances. And a pair of saves for Nick this year. Looking to get out of this 8th inning. Looks like Dombrowski is going with a reliever each of the last 4 innings. Cox had the 6th, Galindo's got the 7th, or had the 7th. Bonk has the 8th. And there is still Mike Esposito warming up in the Beavers bullpen, possibly for the 9th. So Nick versus Nick, Bonk versus Webb to start us off in the 8th. Webb 1 for 2 plus a walk. Couple good swings. Has a single to speak of. A double, actually, excuse me, to lead things off. 4 pitches for Bonk. 4-seam fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. Bonk will face at least 2 lefties in this 8th inning. And it's a small sample size, but that is really bad news with the way the season has gone so far for Bonk. Lefties are 9 for 15 against him so far. I'll do the math for you. That's a 600 batting average for hitters from the left side. He's out in front of the lefty Webb, though. No balls and 2 strikes. Oh, 2. Fastball got him. Called strike 3. First out in the 8th. Webb strikes out for the 2nd time today. That's what Bonk does a lot of. Comes in and throws strikes. He averages 10 strikeouts per 9 innings this season. And the walk rate is below 2. One of the best in the league. Again, not as big a sample size as some other pitchers with only 14 innings. He got here a little bit later. Spikes a slider there, 1-0. Williams Nelson 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts. Fouls it away. Really like the mindset of Dre Williams Nelson this season. Plays with so much energy, almost hyper out there. But I talked to him after the game yesterday, the game in which he was our player of the game with the go-ahead RBI. Swings and misses at the fastball. 93 out of the hand of Bonk. And you wouldn't maybe necessarily think a guy who's played in the minor leagues for multiple seasons, was drafted in 2018, played in the Angels organization for 3 years until 2021. Lifts this one to center. Davis going back, running into the gap, reaching up. He makes the grab on the run. A nice catch by Chris Davis, keeping Williams Nelson off the base path, and it would have been extra bases. Instead, it's a long fly out for the second out. Williams Nelson got all of that out into the deepest part of the park in right center. But again, Dre was drafted in the MLB June Amateur Draft in 2018 with the Angels organization. Got up to High A in 2021 with the Tri-City Dust Devils. Took a year off in 2022. Now here with the USPBL in 2023. For a guy who's played with names like Shohei Ohtani, Brandon Marsh, Joe Adell, and Corey Julks, and many others, wouldn't expect him to be as humble as he is. He's just grateful to be here, grateful to still be playing baseball. For a guy who's been in professional baseball for this is now his 4th season, he's only 23 years old. I feel like we forget that all the time when talking about Williams Nelson. He's got a long baseball life ahead of him. And a guy who's got a lot of potential to grow beyond the good player that he is already. Strike 3 called. Mills looks at 3 pitches in the strike zone. Nick Bonk gets a pair of backwards Ks, and it's a 1-2-3 8th inning. It's been all pitching today. 2 combined runs as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Beavers batting after this on the USPBL Network.
How do these business owners find the time for peace of mind? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with Tryon, one of the nation's top professional employer organizations, provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and its team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
We're for people, the pioneers, the underdogs, the players, and the slow and steadies. We're for people, for who they are and who they could become. Yes, we're a bank, and some say our business is all about money, but that's an old idea. Because look past the money, and you'll see real human lives. We see it, because we're for people. Huntington, welcome.
So because of the quick 7th inning for Atkins and the diving catch by Dre Williams Nelson out in center, robbing Ben Wilcoxon of a hit, he comes back out for the 8th. Tied at 1 apiece. He'll face the top of the order, and this is almost guaranteed the last inning for Bo as he's approaching the century mark. Pitch number 97 is a slider for a called strike. Davis, Ortega, Stubbs, 1, 2, and 3 scheduled. Davis quickly behind 0-2. Takes a fastball up. Chris 1 for 3, singled all the way back in the first inning. Seems like a long time ago when you recognize the fact that the Beavers only have 3 hits today. With a leadoff hit, you would have thought maybe there'd be some offense. It just hasn't been the case. The pitching has been really solid. A lot of soft contact, a lot of good defense as well. These infielders on both sides, and obviously the outfielders with Dre Williams-Nelson that last play, have played well. Davis lifts this one to right. Mills back a few steps and now in. 1 up and 1 down. That brings up Ortega, playing in his 12th game. The third baseman out of Miami, Florida. Smaller sample size than most, but an 800-plus OPS with a home run already for Christian. Hard hit into center field. Williams-Nelson going back, twisting, just short of the warning track. And Bo Atkins, perhaps in a time when he needed it most, the late innings, has gone quickly with just a few pitches through the 7th and the 8th so far. He still has to get stubs as he's now over 100 pitches. And Jelly's going to come out, either pull him or contemplate. And with a hug from his catcher, Zach Beadle, the day is over for Bo Atkins. We mentioned this being his last game, and these are some goodbye hugs to some of his teammates and longtime friends. Atkins, one of the most lovable guys in the league. Always goofy, smiling, joking. Shares an embrace as he gives the ball to his manager, Taylor Jellikowski. A hat tip to Bo Atkins in his final game. 7 2/3 innings. Only 3 hits, 1 run. He walked 3 batters, struck out 2. Really impressive through the final 4 innings. A lot of contact outs, but a lot of good pitching, a lot of soft contact. And a job well done for Bo. Tyler Richley is going to come on after the pitching change here in the U.S. PBL Network.
There are many things you can rely on in this world, like a sunny day brightening your mood, your mom baking the world's best apple pie, and never a dull moment in running your business. And when it comes to time-consuming HR tasks, you can rely on Tryon. Tryon can handle payroll and taxes, employee benefits, and more, so you can stay focused on attracting and retaining the best talent. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
A shout out to Bo Atkins. Last game of the season for him. He's going to head home after this. 7 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. We talked about Bo, joked about it a little bit, that Taylor Jellikowski said he was going to pitch until his arm fell off. Bo has, had his ups and downs. He's had some really good outings and some bad ones as well. And in your final game, to go 7 2/3 and throw 101 pitches, it really speaks to the athlete and the pitcher that Atkins is. Mentioned it was Tyler Richley. It's actually Cal Coughlin on the mound in relief for Bo. Just has to get stubs here to end the 8th. Coughlin, a 25-year-old native of Evanston, Illinois. 9th appearance in relief this season. ERA just below 5. The stuff for Coughlin is what's most intriguing about him. 2 fastballs, a sinker and a 4-seam. Slider, changeup, splitter. And the slider and the sinker both look really good. The 1-1, there's the slider, backdoor, called strike 2. JD, 1 walk today, 2 outs beyond that. We're right at 3 o'clock. He takes a ball inside, 2-2. Game started at 1:05. 1 run for the Beavers in the second, 1 run for the Mammoths in the third. Nothing more than that. Highlighted by a lot of good pitching today. Here on our Sunday Funday. The 2-2. Just caught a piece of that. No, he didn't. That's a drop third strike. They'll throw down to first to get him. Not sure what sound we heard. Maybe it was off of Beetle's glove. Cal Coughlin comes on, gets the strikeout, and we are out of the 8th inning. Head to the 9th, still tied at 1. Anything can happen on the US PBL Network.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. FSBcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
Fifth Third Bank. Yeah, it's a quirky name. But here's the thing. 5/3 equals 166.7%. So we put 166.7% into everything we do. Like automatically getting you your paycheck up to 2 days early. Giving you well-deserved extra time to avoid overdraft fees. And helping you borrow from your future self. This is banking a Fifth Third better.
It's thanks to that guy with the curly hair and the earring that the Mammoths are still in this game with a chance to take the lead in the 9th. Bo Atkins with 7 2/3 innings of 1-run baseball. Fantastic stuff in his final game. And he's given his team a chance to become the winningest team in the league thus far. Mammoths with 20 wins, so do the Hoppers. And the Woolly Mammoths looking for number 21 here in the 9th against Michael Esposito, who gets the call from John Dombrowski out of the bullpen. Esposito will face Liam Morrison-Garbasic. Tough spot, but they're going against a tough guy. Esposito, the 23-year-old native of Port Washington, New York, has only given up 2 earned runs this year. That's in 12 1/3 innings, 16 appearances. Doing the math on that, a 1.84 ERA. What's been most impressive is that Esposito just doesn't give up hits. Opponents are hitting less than 100 against the lefty this year. A 95-mile-an-hour fastball, a wipeout slider, and a changeup that'll keep you off balance every so often. Starts him off, 95, middle of the zone, called strike 1. Liam can hit the fastball, but he hunts the off speed, so look out for a slider. A little late on the fastball there. Now 0-2. For Esposito, it is a wipeout slider that is coupled well with the fastball, but it is a bunch of fastballs that he is going to throw. Got him, called strike 3. Liam looks at it low and in. Perfect pitch from Mike. Backwards K for his first strikeout and the first out in the 9th. Now Livingston Morris. Fastball skips in. 1-0. That's 2 under the zone from Esposito. Struggled with the command in his previous stops. He has professional experience before the USPBL in the American Association with the Sioux City Explorers. Outside on the fastball, 3-0. Morris offered at it for a minute. Morris laying off on the 3-0 and a 4-pitch walk. Ninth inning walks can be deadly in this league. We mentioned the walks were the struggle for Esposito in his last couple stops. Same thing in college as well. He actually had more walks than strikeouts in his college years. This season it's been a lot better. 13 walks to 27 Ks. That's before today, so obviously 14 and 28 now with one each this inning. Those numbers total up in 12 and a third innings to 8 walks per 9 and 19 strikeouts per 9 innings. Best in the league. Strike called on Garbasic. It's been nothing but fastballs. Struck out Liam on 3 pitches, walked Morris on 4, and the first 2 to Garbasic. 1 a ball, 1 a strike. 9 fastballs for Esposito out of the bullpen. There's another one, strike 2. Sets with the glove at the belt. Another fastball, swing and a miss. Busted it right by him, inside part of the zone. 2 down now for Colby Seltzer. Last chance for the Mammoths to get some offense before we head to the bottom of the 9th. Seltzer, a little bit of everything today. 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 1 hit. Looks at strike 1. Talked about how much Colby has improved in the second half of this season yesterday. Very slow start. It's turned it around a little bit. It's not going to be represented in the batting average column necessarily. 150 before today. But the on base being almost double that is what's really impressive. Double-digit walks for Colby as well. Has a good eye at the plate. Waits on the 1-1. Uses that good eye to lay off the high fastball. And Seltzer fouls another fastball away. Goes to show you how good this fastball is from Esposito when it's all he's thrown and still nobody has timed it up yet. He's given up 1 home run, and that was to Nick Caruso in a non-public game weeks ago. Caruso was just helping out a short-staffed Mammoths roster. 2-2, popped up foul. Mammoths had some injuries, didn't have time to bring another player in, so Caruso played 1 game, 9-hole DH for the Mammoths. And he hit a home run off of Esposito, the only one that Mike has given up this year. He's only given up a total of 6 hits, and that's one of them. 2-2, popped up. This time it's in play. Stubbs racing over, fighting the sun, calling off his catcher, and he makes the grab. Esposito gets out of the 9th. Beavers with a chance to win it when we come back in the home half of the 9th on the US PBL Network.
Why are all these business owners smiling? Because they rely on Tryon to handle difficult and time-consuming HR tasks like payroll, benefits administration, and more. Working with one of the nation's top professional employer organizations provides access to top-tier healthcare and employee benefit plans and Tryon's team of attorneys and HR experts. With Tryon, you don't have to grow it alone. Visit RelyOnTryon.com.
You can always rely on Tryon.
What are the odds that we're neighbors, where you've known each other our whole lives, and both tear the exact same things in this exact same knee?
So an ACL tear is an injury to the main stabilizing structure of the knee.
You want a good team around you, because then you know that what you're doing is going to help you in the long run.
My message to everyone who's helped me, thank you so much, because you guys helped me progress so much.
Also hearing it from a friend that's went through the exact same thing, I think sort of helps that know that there's a bright side at the end.
Bottom of the ninth, tied at 1 apiece. Beavers looking to get closer to the 500 mark. Mammoths looking to become the winningest team so far this season. And it all comes down to Bolin, Hilbrick, and Ramirez for the Beavers here to cap off the weekend on Sunday afternoon. Bolin's 1 for 2 with a walk. Hilbrick 0 for 3, did reach on a fielder's choice. And Rudy Ramirez has reached twice, once by a walk, once by a hit by pitch, and he grounded out his last time up in the 6th. Coughlin came on to finish the 8th, struck out J.D. Stubbs, and promptly ended the inning in relief of Bo Atkins. Bolin's 1 base hit came in his last at bat. Smacks the first pitch foul. Beavers have only 1 bench bat available. It's the catcher Alex Crump. Now Bolin smacks this one foul the other way, 0-2. Again for Coughlin, it's a flurry of pitches, sinker, slider, changeup, four-seam, splitter. Mainly sinker, slider, four-seam. He's ahead 0-2. We'll see what he goes with here. And that was a riding sinker up. 1-2. Slider breaking away, and Bolin lays off of it to even up the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Coughlin out of Texas Christian University, the Horned Frogs. 3 years there, 78 total innings, all of them out of the bullpen. Broken bat, in on the hand, shattered. Garbasic, tough play, throws to first and makes it. Garbasic just makes that look easy every single time. And we're 1 out closer to extra innings, still tied at 1. But it only takes 1 swing. Ramirez will be next after Ray Hilbrick. Hilbrick, decent candidate for a home run, had 12 in 5 seasons in college. 7 of them came in his 2023 season. That one squirts away from Liam. Took a weird bounce on the first pitch. He moved to his left. That ball was bounding that way. Hopped off the dirt, back to his right. Tried to barehand it, couldn't do so. And the winning run is on base for the Beavers. It's been a very solid and clean defensive game today. No errors on either side and good plays galore. First pitch to Ramirez inside. He jackknifes out of the way of the fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. Hilbrick over at first, does have 2 steals this season. Slider clips the zone. 1-1. Ramirez, 8 RBIs on the year. No home runs yet. Still looking for his first professional one. Swings and misses at the off speed. We have learned not to count out anybody in this league. At any given moment, especially late in games, to do something unexpected. There is some pop in Ramirez's bat back in the college days. Strike 3 call, pulled back into the zone on the sinker. Beetle framed it well. Right on the black, a perfect pitch from Cal Coughlin, and now the Beavers are down to their last out if they want to win this game in extra, or in regular innings, I should say. So Alex Crump will pinch hit for Luke Stevenson. Strike one to Crump. On the year, Alex just 3 for 40. Looking to get hit number 4 in a big spot. Swings and hits it hard on the ground, and Dombrowski almost picked it over there at third. One hop off his glove. He'll get it back to the ball boys here at Jimmy John's Field. Crump ropes it foul. Crump, a native of Grand Rapids, Michigan, has been here all season long. Behind 0-2. Coughlin trying to push this game to extras. The winning run on base. Crump thought about swinging. Somehow that didn't hit him. Shows you how much break that slider has. That almost hit his left hip, and he laid off of it. Now 1-2. It's Hilbrick over at first. Infield and outfield straight up. 1-2, sinker. Just missing outside. Crump played in the MLB Draft League with the Mahoning Valley Scrappers before the USPBL. 2 home runs there, 7 home runs in college. The 2-2. Hard hit out in front of the sinker again. Excuse me, the slider, but foul. Crump will see at least 7 pitches in this at-bat. Just fighting to end this game. Coughlin set the 2-2. Called strike 3 again. Crump watched the nasty sinker low and away. Coughlin placed it perfectly in back-to-back at-bats, and he gets a pair of backwards Ks to end this ball game. 9 innings wasn't enough. We'll play an extra half inning in the 10th to try to decide the winner, as we're tied at 1 after the 9. For those of you who have never seen the extra innings here in the USPBL, let me break it down for you. So we're going to do a coin toss right now here at home plate between the Beavers and the Mammoths. I believe the Mammoths will get to choose, being the away team, what they want. Kara's got the coin toss down at home plate.
They're going to go tails today. Coins flipped. It's heads. The Mammoths will take defense. Let's see how this goes. Send it back up to Johnny now. Here we go. Sudden death time.
So the home team Beavers got to decide what they wanted. Frankie Luxa, the assistant manager, went with tails. It was heads. So because it was heads, Taylor Jellikowski gets to decide whether he wants his team to hit or he wants his team to field. He's going to send him out into the field. That means the Beavers are going to get a base runner over at first, nobody out, and we'll play regular baseball. If the Beavers score that 1 runner at first, they'll win. If they don't, and the Mammoths get 3 outs without giving up any runs, they will win. So we're just going to go right back to where we were in the order. Alex Crump, who was the last out in the 9th, he'll head to first and be the ghost runner. So that means Marcus Judd, Ben Wilcoxon, and Chris Davis are due up. Cal Coughlin is going to stay on the mound. He'll get the 10th inning. We've seen these extra inning games result in some really exciting, fun, wild, never before seen plays in baseball. There's some crazy stuff that we've seen, and maybe we'll see some more when we come back after the break on the USPBL Network. Crump over at first, the extra inning runner. Judd waiting on the first pitch. Swings and misses at a slider from Coughlin. Strike one. Speculating whether this would be a save situation or not. Maybe, I don't know. It's weird in a 1-1 tie. In a game also in which Coughlin came on in the 8th, he's recorded 4 outs. They're going to need 7 to win this game. Judd bunts. It goes back to second base. Crump went back to first, though. Seltzer can't scoop it. Everybody's safe. We just talked about it, how crazy these extra inning games can be, and there is something I've never seen before. A pop-up bunt back to the pitcher that gets away. Because it was a little loop, Crump, who was at first, was ready to go back to the bag in case it was caught. Then it drops, so he runs to second. He would have been out had Seltzer, who sure-handed at second base, fielded it, but he tried to barehand it, couldn't do so. Everybody's safe. The winning run is in scoring position for Ben Wilcoxon and the Beavers. That was crazy. Now another bunt from Wilcoxon trying to move him over. They'll throw to third. They get the lead runner. What a play by Cal Coughlin. Tried to advance the runner to 90 feet closer to home. A sac fly maybe wins the game in that situation. Crump slid and couldn't make the play. Cal Coughlin fielding his position, heads up awareness to throw to third and get the lead runner. Boy, we've got it all going on here in this extra inning game. So now Judd is at second. Wilcoxon at first on the fielder's choice. The putout went 1-5. Don't write that too often. Davis swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. Only 1 out in the inning. Davis 1 for 4 today. And with the way his average has gone, that means he's pretty much due for a hit. Looks at a ball outside. Barely missing with the sinker was Coughlin. Righty on lefty. Coughlin much better against righties than lefties this year. He's only faced 5 of them, though, so it's a very small sample size. The 1-1 to the lefty Davis. He looks at a slider low. Two balls, 1 strike. Davis this season, 361 with runners in scoring position. That's better than his regular season average. Waits on the 2-1, swings and hits it back over the middle. This is going to be a tough play for Seltzer. He'll field on the backhand, can't throw anywhere. Judd is going to try to come home. No, he's going to go back to third. Seltzer, I think, was in between whether he should go to second or first. He has been the victim of 2 very difficult ground balls in this inning. Nowhere to go. Davis has plenty of speed to beat that out anyways at first. Everybody is safe. The bases are loaded for Christian Ortega. That's the winning run right there. 90 feet from the plate, 1 out, and this will lead to an infield conversation with Justin Karn and the rest of his infield and Cal Coughlin. What do you do here? Obviously looking for the ground ball. The Beavers have grounded into 16 double plays this year. That's second in the league behind these Mammoths. Mammoths are not a team, as far as their pitching staff is concerned, that is adept at getting the ground ball. The worst ratio in the league of flyouts to groundouts. They need one here. They've gotten a couple this inning already. A pair of bunts, 2 ground balls. Bases loaded with 1 out. Looking for the double play. Likely just going to go to whatever the closest bag is for the first out. We already saw a 1-2-3 double play yesterday that these Mammoths earned with Nathan Witt on the mound with the bases loaded in a close game. Any pitch in the dirt is trouble with Judd, who has speed over at third base. Judd, with 7 steals this year, has yet to be caught. That number just telling you how fast he is. Ortega's 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Only needs 1 hit, though, to win this game. Want anything, really. Swing and a miss. Coughlin earns a strike back. The only run that matters is Judd at third, but Wilcoxon is at second and Davis over at first. Ortega waits on the 2-1. Swings and misses. Sinker under the bat. Coughlin back in this at-bat, 2-2. 26 pitches, a guy who comes on and usually throws 1 or 2 innings, so that's still a decently low count for him. Reminder, he came out in the 8th. He's recorded 5 outs since then. Ortega taking his time out on the 2-2. Game hanging in the balance here. Swing and a miss. Coughlin with a big punch out. Two down now for J.D. Stubbs. Sinker got him again. That's the nasty pitch that Coughlin has. A lot of movement on the 2-seam fastball. That's his 4th strikeout since coming on in the 8th. Now Stubbs, who's already had a couple good swings. On the ground, Seltzer fields at second. Chance to end it, and he does. Colby Seltzer, who had 2 very tough ground balls that kept the Beavers in this inning, ends it on the final 4-3 putout. Hard not to be romantic about baseball. Bo Atkins goes 7 2/3 in his final game, gives up 1 run. Doesn't get any run support besides 1 run beyond that, and then Cal Coughlin comes on in the 8th and records the 7 outs that he needs to get the Mammoths a win in the extra innings. A 1-1 sudden death victory for the Mammoths. They've got 21 on the year. They are now 21-15 and even more in sole possession of first place. The Beavers fall to 16-20. They still sit at third here in the USPBL standings as we get closer to the final end of the season. And Bo Atkins gets a hearty Gatorade shower to celebrate his final game. And he's going to be our player of the game with Kara Wolfbauer as we await that interview. Atkins was really impressive, as we talked about. 7 2/3, scattered 3 hits with only 1 run allowed. That 1 run came all the way back in the 2nd, and that runner was Rudy Ramirez, who actually reached on a hit by pitch in the 2nd inning. After that, Atkins did nothing but get outs. He only walked 2 more batters beyond that for 3 total and had 2 strikeouts. Pretty impressive win for the Mammoths today. A lot of really good defense, some good at-bats. Both sides defended well. Have to talk about the 9 fielders on each side to really tell the story of this game. Saw a couple double plays. The middle infielders on each side were really impressive. Marcus Judd, Ben Wilcoxon, Trevor Austin, and obviously Colby Seltzer in that final 10th inning. How about him sure-handing that last out to win the game after 2 just tough plays that he probably would like to have back, that he maybe thinks he should have made and wasn't able to, but he got the out that mattered when it mattered. Now Kara Wolfbauer has got it with Bo.
I'm here with the Detroit News Player of the Game, Bo Atkins. Yes, give Bo a big. Thank you. Thank you guys for saving my life today. Really appreciate it. They were yelling my name behind me to let me know. That was very nice, boys. Okay, once again, our Detroit News Player of the Game, Bo Atkins. Now, we usually talk a lot about stats, but Bo went 7 innings today, only giving up 3 hits. Did an absolutely fantastic job, only giving up 1 run. But at the end of it all, this is his last professional baseball game, and you got the start tonight, did a fantastic job. So how does it feel knowing that you began your professional career here, and now you're ending it with all your guys here on the bench?
I mean, it's bittersweet, but I got a good group of guys here. I love every single one, and I was just glad to do my part in the game, and then the boys had my back as well. And roll Mammoths.
Roll Mammoths, as always. And you had Taylor Jellikowski, who you've had now the last 2 years, and he's been a really big pivotal part of your professional career.
Yeah, Taylor's a very good friend of mine. And actually, after college, I wasn't going to play baseball, and then he gave me a call. And I was like, yeah, I'll think about it. And I only thought about it for an hour, and I called him again and said, yeah, I'll come. And I'm very fortunate for USPBL, the fans, everybody giving me an opportunity, supporting me and stuff like that. And it's been a really fun ride, and I'm glad I ended it here.
Yes, well, it's fantastic we got to have you here for the end of your baseball career. Let's give it up one more time for Bo Atkins, finishing out his professional career, doing an absolutely fantastic job on the mound tonight. Usually a closer, came in starting today. Really glad to see you out there. Once again, Bo Atkins, our Detroit News Player of the Game. Everybody on the broadcast, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Everyone in the field, thanks for coming out to Jimmy John's Field. We'll see you next week. I'll toss it back to Brendan in the booth on the broadcast and send it back up to Johnny here on the field. Thank you guys so much. Roll Mammoths.
Roll Mammoths.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Bo. 101 pitches in his final game. He earns a win for his Mammoths. 1-1 in sudden death. Not a lot of offense, but a lot of really good pitching and some fantastic defense. We hope you enjoyed it. As we close the book on this weekend, we look to next weekend. It'll be the Hoppers and these Beavers. That's Wednesday, 7:05, Oldies night. Here at the ballpark at Jimmy John's Field. We'll have it for you on the US PBL network. For Kara Wolfbauer, I'm Brendan Shabath. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everyone. We will see you back on Wednesday here from Jimmy John's Field and the US PBL network. These are like more karaoke mics, you know? I want to dance with somebody.